Good evening. I instantly started that halfway through settling in. I tend to burrow when I first get into bed, especially on nights like this where it just feels really good to be in bed. So, I got woke up today by a phone call, and the news was both good and terrifying. Good for good reasons, terrifying for anxiety reasons. And it's that basically I have a job interview tomorrow for that post office position at 10:15. It was the time presented, and the last thing I wanted was my first impression to be, oh, I'm not a morning person when applying for a mail carrier position. Figured that was not necessarily going to be best foot forward. Which 10:15 is not all that early. It's really not. Except for scum like me that sleep till noon. But yeah, I mean, all I've got to do is not say fuck, and I think I might. It's going to be a hard one, though. No, it's not that hard. Just observing my own forehead wrinkles. Ignore me. Smooth. I aged like 15 years. Watch. Look how much older that forehead is. Anyway. Didn't really get much done today. Messed around a little bit more with Mario Golf when I first got up. And then decided to attempt to switch gears. Well, last night while I was laying in bed, I had the idea of, I thought I read at one point where Final Fantasy XI was free after all these years. It is not. Uh, like, I don't know where I thought I read this, but I think I got confused. I think I confused a couple of different things, which is their free trial, as well as a lot of the game after all this time being rebalanced so you can play it solo. And so I think my head put that together as you can play they offer an offline experience for free where you miss events and stuff, but you can just play the story, and that was very wrong. So I was thinking, what's something else? Just something else I can play. Because unfortunately, I think I ultimately burned myself out on Dragon Quarter. One day I'll probably revisit it, and it'll probably benefit from. That's one nice thing about it. When I do, I can just restart. It's not like I'll have to start from a clean file. Um, and then Tales of Symphonia just hadn't hooked me. I gave it like 2 whole days, and while the story was, like, don't get me wrong, it was solid. It just wasn't catching me at the time. Um, Maybe at some point, but just getting frustrated at losing so much progress. Because at one point, like when I quit it, I lost about an hour and a half of progress, and most of it talking that I can't really skip through. And that's kind of why I walked away from it. But then today I decided to give The Last Story another shot. Now, Last Story is a game that I was very interested in, running it on Aquatic Mammal. Was really into it, was really enjoying it. And then I began experiencing a crash. Like, this one cutscene would crash no matter what I tried. And I was a fair whack into the game at that point. Like, I think I've been playing it for like 3 days or so, so that was kind of heartbreaking. That was soul crushing. And, like, it's too far in to start clean, and hope that fixes it. But like at the time, I wasn't super savvy um, as far as attempting to troubleshoot it. I just tried multiple times, and when it failed to work, like one of the 3 times I tried, I just gave up. Um, so I'm trying that again. Hopefully, we can get around that this time. But getting it running was a little bit more aggravating than I expected because I was having issues with my controller connecting, and it was extra bizarre because I could do all the setting of it up in like the actual configuration page, but the game just refused to accept that it existed, and it was this long, complicated process of as far as what was causing it, but like the solution was, on paper very simple. It was just delete everything and clean install because somewhere a configuration file had become borked and was constantly refreshing it, searching for controllers because Aquatic Mammal, acts exactly like the main system and the Wii. Like if the controller disconnects, you can't do anything. And basically, from what I understand, it was like constantly refreshing its search, but in doing so, it would just disconnect anything connected. So, for those of you familiar with Aquatic Mammal, you may have also run into the Wiimote has been disconnected due to software emulation or something like that. It's either that or it's got something to do with timeout, because the Wii did have a normal, like most wireless, like pretty much every console with wireless controllers does these days, except for Switch, or maybe I just have it turned off. Because my Pro controller will run all day when connected to the Switch, not just anyway. Where it does that thing where like after X amount of time of inactivity, it'll disconnect the controller. And I'm wondering if maybe that was like set to the bare minimum by some configuration file, so it would like connect and go, oh, timeout. But the reason it took so long is I had to back up and then restore all of the extra files and stuff, and we're talking dozens of gigabytes, and like even like a high spec computer is going to take a little bit of time to do that. Not as much as I thought it would, thankfully. And by extra files, I mean like I have a couple of different HD texture packs downloaded that I didn't want to get rid of. Thousand Year Door, Xenoblade, although I can technically get rid of that one at this point because Definitive Edition does look even better. There's a couple other that I'm not remembering, but anyway. And specifically, Last Story, because I, grabbed one for it too, and it looks really great. Especially when you compare it to native resolution. Which kind of just looks like there's like Vaseline smeared on the screen. Which was an unfortunate side effect of Wii games kind of in general. But anyway. So yeah. Back into Last Story, and I'm enjoying it. It's a combat's sort of simple, but at the same time enjoyable. Um, but I'm too tired to feel like explaining it. Look, I've just been doing that for so. I'm tired. So I'm tired and I have to get up, which means I'm not going to sleep. So I may as well start trying now. And so I will see you all tomorrow.